they attended puppy school. The problem has been present for 2 years. He does not heel when we walk him, and he runs away. Discuss.
Healing, I've seen a lot of trainers make it look pretty easy, but it really is a moving stay. Like, to me, that can be a pretty difficult behavior. I try to focus especially on the polite leash walking first, and just getting them to walk in my general vicinity, usually on one side or the other or both, with just loose leashes. And I try to focus on that a little bit more before the heel. And for the running away, long line. A long line attached to you. That dog cannot get off leash until you are willing to bet your next paycheck that in most circumstances, even if a squirrel was to run down a tree, that you could recall your dog. And one of our dogs is a bourgeois, which is like a long-haired greyhound or a sighthound. And those dogs are known for not being able to be trusted off leash. I don't trust ours off leash in every circumstance, and I don't go to public dog parks and things with her, but we go to specific trails back in the woods that I did 16 months of training with her from the time she was 8 weeks old till she was about 18 months old before I was first willing to on-clip a long line altogether with her. And we're both trainers in the house, and most of my other puppies are off leash a lot faster than that. But I really was very, very dedicated to that training. And again, because she's a sight hound, and for those of us that have sight hounds, we know, it can be a gamble because they can see something pretty far away and go for it. But I've now gotten to the point on a long line where I waited till I could call her off coyotes in the woods, fox in the woods, deer in the woods, rabbit, pheasants, and squirrels. And when I was proofed on a long line, 50 or 100 feet at some cases, that I could recall her on that long line, I'd drop in the long line. Then I waited for all those circumstances to show up again to recall her. And again, once I'd done that numerous times, we on-clipped the long line, and in specific situations, I do trust her off-leash skills. I'd bet my next paycheck on it.
And what did you use for a reward for Donna?
Yes, and for love, she could care less about food. She might take it just as, I think, to appease me, but she'd often spit it back out on the ground after she put it in her mouth. So what I used for her is once she came, she had to actually give eye contact. She didn't even get to sit for the first 8 months of it. It was just eye contact. And occasionally I would be standing in the woods waiting for 5 minutes for that eye contact. And it feels like an eternity when you're just standing in the woods waiting for a dog to look at you. But as soon as she did, that was part of the criteria. When I said your name, you had to come back to me and make eye contact with me. And once she did that, then her big reward was go play. So she had another opportunity to run, because most sight hounds love to run. So the biggest reward for her was getting another opportunity to run full tilt for a couple seconds again.
And I bring that up because terriers, similarly to sight hounds, I also find similarly to a lot of my northern breeds, don't usually care all that much about food. Playing is usually more important to them. Getting to explore their environment is usually more important than food for them. So you've really got to tap into what your dog wants, and you've got to be the gatekeeper to that thing. Any other thoughts on Sylvia?
And check your relationship with the dog. My goal always is that my dogs don't want to be anywhere else but with me. So I'm always very predictably, with 100% certainty, good news for my dogs, no matter what they do. If there's any ambiguity in the dog, what it means to be close to the owner, then they are less likely to come. So, and I'm not accusing anybody, of course. I don't know the person who answered that question, but often I find that, sometimes owners are getting a little bit harsh if the dog is coming back on recall after they just dug up the garden, or after they just chased the cat, or after they called the dog for about 5 times and the dog didn't come. So when the dog is coming here, coming close, walking in the direction where the person is, it has to be the best news for the dog at that point, regardless what they've done before.
And I think just quickly to touch on what Amy said, is healing is a very complex behavior if you want to have an actual competition level healing dog. I remember I bought a book called Clicker Training for Obedience. It was written by one of the top obedience competitors in the US. And when I got to the chapter on healing, I said, I know how to teach healing. And I think it was literally like 50 pages all on healing and how to get the dog to perfectly strike. And I was reading it, and the level of complexity and precision that this guy trained to for healing was unbelievable. And so it is a very complex skill. If you haven't trained heeling, your dog is not going to know that command. And so I will amend my previous answers. That is another command people give dogs, and they have no clue what it means. And if you are going to teach your dog heeling, just a very loose recommendation would be do it off leash. Do it in a safe area at your home or something, but do it off leash because you will be deluded into thinking your dog knows heeling because you will probably have a tense leash and you will think your dog is heeling. But if you teach it completely with no leash, you won't be able to force them into it. You'll be forced to learn how to do it properly.